So welcome to everyone, listeners out there. My name is John Raftopoulos and I want to welcome you to the first podcast of 1,000 Little MS Things. I'm sitting here with my wife Claire. Say hello.
Hi.
How was your ride today?
Really good, actually. Yes, I rode well. A good day, thank you.
So on this podcast, we're going to talk about all the little things that people won't necessarily talk about that go on in their day, people with MS and the carers. They're just little things, just little 1% things in a day that will alter the course of the day sometimes when they're hard. Because a lot of people, when they talk about MS, they talk about their symptoms and a lot of the big things we know about balance, walking, cognitive issues. But it's so much more than that. And with the disease, I think there's 100 different types of MS as it is. And Darling, you want to quickly introduce what your type of MS is?
Well, I started with relapsing remitting MS, and now, much to my kind of disappointment, I guess, it's now become secondary progressive MS. Yeah. Because basically the symptoms I was having initially, way back when, it's been 25 years, at the beginning they had little ones that were just issues, symptoms, but now as I've got a lot older and it's got not been longer lasting, things are not getting repaired now. So things don't improve. So the actual flares, or like the, I've forgotten the word now.
Okay.
When you have an attack, you're up and you go down. But with me now, I say I'm here. I'm sort of this sick now, but rather than go better, it just stays here.
And
don't get better, just not getting better.
And the drug you're on now, just let everyone know.
I'm on a drug called Ocrevus, which I love. So it's taken bi-monthly, twice a year.
Biannually.
I can't speak. Biannually then.
I think it's January, July.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the drug.
So what we'll try and do, and we hope we will do on this podcast, is talk to people with MS and maybe some of their carers and what their journeys are. Yes. And so we'd like to open that up to, so I'd like to thank the 161 people on our Facebook page that have joined the 1,000 Little MS Things group. We'd like to invite you guys first to sort of send in maybe a story or a little email to myself. I'm rafty20@gmail.com, so RAFTY number 220@gmail.com, and just my name's John and this is Claire, and just send in a video or a little dot points on what you've been through, and maybe we can bring you onto this in a Zoom or a face-to-face if you're on the coast. We're in Coopers Chute in New South Wales. Also, just want to mention this production was brought to you by Take My Hand Productions. The Take My Hand Productions started when we obviously, Claire and I, to those of you who don't know, made a film, and it was released at the cinemas at the end of August in Australia in 186 cinemas, and it had a 5-week run. It's called Take My Hand, starring Radha Mitchell playing the role of Claire, and I wrote and we had a co-writer come on by the name of Dave Patterson, and Bronte Pictures produced it, and I directed, and we've only just finished that process sort of 6 weeks ago, so now we're tired. Mm-hmm. But we want to talk more about a lot of things we didn't talk about in the film for various reasons, take a little bit further and bring in other people that will understand what we're going through, what you're going through, and let them just be open and free about what they've been through, and no holding back, because we won't be holding back. We'll go a little bit deeper into our world as we go through. During the course of this podcast, I think we'd like to call everyone our MS family.
Okay.
Because I think that they're the people that understand what we're going through, the people who are listening, and
yes.
Don't you think?
I think so.
It's exciting to be here, and let's get into it. Darling, why don't we have a look now and go back to where the journey started with your MS, back to when you were 28. Mm-hmm. So that was 1999 in England.
May, yes, May, yeah.
So you were working at...
That job was actually Babcock's by then.
As Babcock's, and how long had you been there?
7 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And what was going on at that time before your first symptoms happened? How busy were you?
Well, prior to Babcock's, I was working at a job at Macquarie Bank, and then ANZ Bank, and they were very stressful jobs and a lot of travel, a lot of late nights, a lot of travel, a lot of international travel, and very stressful times and very just intense. And I didn't
Long
feel
days.
long day, very long, like 12-hour days, and just very. I didn't feel very not worthy. I felt out of my depth. I know that was just, it's like a trigger thing. So I didn't feel capable of doing what I was doing, but I know I was in hindsight, but I didn't feel at the time. I felt very overwhelmed and very inadequate for my job. When it didn't show. I was doing well at work and they liked me. It was all great, but I think it transpired to me feeling a little bit uneasy all the time, a bit sort of not worthy. But then it's a month of May now. So
we're in May, yeah.
In May,
May of 99.
So prior to May, I'd had some things happen in the previous months where I was out with my husband and we'd been somewhere and I couldn't hear very well, and then I also couldn't see very well, and a couple of times couldn't remember words. I would just mid sentence not be able to talk. It was very odd. I didn't quite know what it was, but I think passed off with me being really tired and working too hard and being.
You just thought you were tongue-tied when those things happened.
I thought I was just too tired to speak, which in hindsight was not the case at all. But in hindsight, it was optic neuritis, but I didn't know that then. But I couldn't see very well because I couldn't see very well. But I thought I can't even think very well, and I couldn't figure out words, and I couldn't. I remember at one stage I was trying to remember a place to go, and ended up spelling it. I spelt it out rather than say it. I couldn't.
You never told me that.
I spelled. I remember thinking going to Battersea. I couldn't spell Battersea. I couldn't say the word Battersea. So Batt. I was like, I'm spelling it out because I couldn't say the word. It was just so spooky. I can still spell it, but I couldn't say the word.
Who'd you say that to?
To Mark at the time. So I was spelling it out and I couldn't say the word. It was very. It wasn't. In hindsight, it was spooky. At the time, I was too tired, but more than that.
What was the next symptom?
The big symptoms, been really bad, or the first one? The big one. Also, prior to that, also, I think it's very. I was going to tube to work to check. The car go about right now. I was on the tube going to work.
Happens when you're on a farm.
It does, yes, on the farm. But I was going to the tube to a meeting, sorry. And I went to get out of the tube and I nearly fell out of the tube. I thought, that's weird. I should be out of the tube quite sort of confidently, by the time I got out of my seat and just fell out. I had no balance.
So you were in the train and you felt dizzy, and that was the vertigo, yeah?
It was the beginning of vertigo. I don't know anything about that, but it was a bit of vertigo in hindsight. But I just fell over and I had balance problems even then. And then one day when I was working in America, I'm in a corridor, in a hotel corridor. I was trying to get my hotel room down to my meeting room. I was walking along the hotel room and I just basically, it was like an earthquake. It wasn't an earthquake. It felt like the whole world was moving. And it wasn't moving at all, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm too tired again. I put everything out to be too tired all the time. But I wasn't too tired. I was actually, because I was actually having a not attack, but having some moments then. I felt wobbly and out of control. I thought, Claire, you're working too hard. Just go and sleep more. And I couldn't sleep more, working too hard, so I couldn't. I was a bit scared then. I thought, this is not good. But it kind of palmed off as no big deal, but it was a big deal. But I thought, not a big deal at all.
Did you tell Mark about this stuff straight away?
I didn't tell him about the wobbly bit. I talked about, he obviously saw the speech part because I couldn't speak. But
what was his reaction?
That's a good question. The worst thing was when my eyes were moving separately. The biggest one, when I said to him, when my eyes went weird, and my eyes actually at that stage were so bad that my eyes actually, when you looked at me, my eyes would move separately. I'm not kidding. They actually, my eyes would actually go. The muscles were kind of so, I guess, broken that actually moved separately.
We've got a picture of, remember that one picture of
and me and my eyes going one way, my eyes going one way.
I saw that.
It was just so spooky because Mark said to me, your eyes aren't moving together. I said, really? Can that happen? I thought, that's not right. But again, I just thought I was just tired, blah, blah, blah. It was just so silly. But it was the beginning of the optic neuritis.
And then were you riding a horse at the time?
At the time.
In that busy period, or probably not?
No, this is actually before horse riding. This is the thing about the whole horse riding part of my life. And the film was a bit of a fib.
Really?
No way. What a surprise. Riding I did as a teenager, as a 20-something, only occasionally, not all the time, especially not as a kid either. as I said before, it wasn't our family being rich by those things. I rode on weekends with my friends occasionally or on holidays with my friends, but not all the time ever.
But just getting back to when the symptoms came on. So what was the last straw of going to seek some help?
It's hard. It's so kind of messy at the beginning of the whole thing. Because when I going back to work time, I was on a Wednesday. I'm meant to be flying to Denmark to do a presentation. I remember this day quite clearly that week. I meant to go to Denmark, do this presentation, and I remember talking to my secretary the day before, I said, I don't feel very well, I can't go. I think I might go to hospital. I'll go to the doctor, sorry. She goes, I'll just, I might get mixed up now, I'm being mixed up. I said to her, yeah, she was doing a presentation for me. I said, can you read it out to me? I'll just tell you what's changed now. Some things had to change, some dates and some times things and some numbers. And I said, I don't think I'm going to take it now. I don't quite know if it's what I'm saying is correct. So I said, I'll call you back. Hang up. I thought, that's not right. And I thought, is something my brain was just not working and I couldn't think clearly and I couldn't even articulate things quickly at all. I thought
it's starting to get a little scary.
I was getting too tired, but it was more than that. So I just and then eventually when it got really bad, that's when it got really, really bad. But my parents-in-law, Bill and Joyce from there, Mark's parents came to help me out because I was really, at this stage I was I wasn't in a coma, I wasn't nothing that bad. I was couldn't walk at all. This is when it went really bad. Got no walking, no hands wouldn't work, and it was just diabolical. To the point that Mark had to carry me out of the house into a car and took me straight to hospital. Then I was in hospital there for weeks. So it was at the end of everything, the work, everything, life finished over that day really from then on. And I just thought, well,
so what's the time frame from first symptom to diagnosis?
The first symptoms are things like, I didn't tell you, prior to all that happening, back at work, back in Macquarie days, had days where I had my migraines where I couldn't even think, I couldn't see. So our eyes went I couldn't see anything. I had to stay home those days. It was really bad. So that was probably 6 months before this. But so you back to when it all went wrong, I forgot the story. What did the question say?
No, just about the question was when from the symptoms showing themselves to the actual diagnosis.
And some of the things that happened a year before, or things are bad symptoms, like me walking badly and getting to the point where I couldn't actually walk at all I got diagnosed probably 2 months only because I went pretty fast. Actually, maybe a month even. Because when I got to the stage, I went to hospital.
Was that quick?
Because when I got into hospital, not walking, Mark had to carry me to the hospital. Then I went really fast. So I was basically.
I thought it was a few months.
It wasn't in a coma. It's actually my hands were stopped working, my legs weren't working. Everything went really, really fast.
And the first drug they gave you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They gave you some oral drugs first.
They gave me oral steroids first. This is Dr. Meadows, who's the very first neurologist I saw.
But why do they give you steroids? What do they think that would do?
He said, you've got signs of MS. He saw my MRI. He said, you've got signs of MS. Take these steroids, oral steroids. I've got the name now. Prednisolone, orals. And I took those.
I don't know if either of us said that well, but it doesn't matter.
Prednisolone, it's called, I think. And I took that oral, you have 8 a day, little tiny ones. And it did nothing at all, zero. But I did that for a few days and nothing changed. It's slowly getting worse and worse. And then I was by the stage in the hospital, so it kind of it was all over by the stage. And I just went to hospital, had steroids in my arm by then. Steroids in the arm did things, that helped a bit. But then that was the end of life, end of work forever then. The day died. The music died that day.
We'll probably maybe not in this episode, but in the coming ones talk about that time and after you were diagnosed. And just want to get fast forward a little bit to now.
Sure.
To talk to people about our MS listeners and carers about where we are now.
Yeah.
And just a bit of a rough guide to what we're going through at the moment, or you and me a little bit.
Yeah, of course, darling, yes.
Being your carer.
My husband too, by the way.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So let's just talk about a little bit what's in a week for us these days, as far as symptoms are concerned. So, well, I can say some.
Yeah, please do.
I think the fog's still there. So talk about the fog stuff that's still there and how we explain it.
Me explain
with
for
the
me.
clouds.
Why don't you do your way? And
Well, I think Claire has thoughts. I'll say something to her, and then she'll have her brain will start preparing for a response, but then clouds will come over and block her response. So her myelin sheath, the myelin sheath damage that she has in her brain to her receptors. Is that right? I said that wrong.
the receptors is wrong, but the myelin sheath is right.
Myelin sheath, the damage that's been done by the disease will stop the answer coming out the way she wants.
Yes.
So a lot of times it's missed words or completely missed sentences, or it's gone. You'll say it's gone.
They also can I point out that one thing that happens also, it's important, is that people, I'm sure people understand this, is that a thought will come to my head and you'll be talking and I'll say, "Wait," and you'll talk over for a second and the thought goes. Like I was thinking it's like a butterfly. It comes in here and if you took over me, it's gone.
I think I even know, and it happened yesterday a few times. You said, I want to tell you, and I said, hang on a sec, I've got to do something. I have to go in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right?
And
That's something I have to do. And I knew, I bet you she'll probably forget. 1, 2, 3, 5 seconds. So what was it? Gone.
Gone.
And I knew it. And I felt, and this is part of what we're doing on this podcast.
Care part,
is,
yes.
No. Is talking about that's one of the 1,000 little things.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what that is. That's
so
the
frustrating.
things that you people, because
If
MS is
you
a very-
almost shout it out, otherwise it's gone for good.
yeah, I have to shout it out to you.
No, I've shouted out to you.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you have to
yeah.
hear it. Yes.
Sometimes
Took over me. Sometimes. Often, sometimes you do.
I don't mean to.
No, thank you. Yeah.
I don't mean to. When people see you, obviously they see that you're walking the way you walk, and they think you're limping, and then they take another second. And what I notice is when we're walking down the street and people look at you, give you once, probably because you're so gorgeous is one,
Of course,
and then two, looking at the looks, looking at the way you walk, and then maybe why, and that's not limp. That's something else.
Yeah,
We don't talk about that often
no, because I thought, but
because they're just wondering what it is. So
yeah, it's true. Remember that being on the beach at time? We were on the beach, and I don't go to the beach very often. And we were at the beach, and you went out ahead of me into the near the waves were starting. I was standing on the edge of the water, and you said this girl was watching me walk.
all the way.
All the way, she's just staring at me. And I wish I had that confidence.
You feel like going up. You
I
feel
should
like
have shouted it. I didn't, but I thought, I'm sick, love. Piss off. But I didn't say that.
Well, people don't know, and I just feel like going up to them and saying, "Look,
She's sick.
she's sick."
Yeah.
But if we did that, it would be hundreds of people.
And I said, who cares? It doesn't
no
really
one
matter.
really
So
cares.
it's just me being silly. So it doesn't matter.
Everyone's got their own problems. So, Diane, do you mind if people ask you what it is?
I prefer people ask because I think people not knowing, and I'm scratching, they think that's what they have to kill, be a bit sick or something. Either think I'm drunk, or they think I've had a car accident or something, other different things. Just ask me what's wrong. I'd much rather say what's going on. But they also don't have thing written on my head, MS. People don't know anything about it.
Well, you've got your little T-shirts now. Bought about 7 or 8 T-shirts, and she's sort of a
MS
bit
T-shirts.
more,
I'm more
open about it, which
I'm
has been a good part of the process.
I'm also more, not angry, I'm more outspoken about it now. Because I think people...
It's not the judge, it's just understanding.
I mean,
Yeah.
the whole thing about the movie, about everything, so some people understand and have a bit of sympathy. Not sympathy, too much, no, empathy. Not sympathy, sympathy is a bad word. Empathy.
Yeah. Back to your walking
Yes.
for a sec. We've thought that personal training, and I think it has done,
Oh, yeah, it's
You a
great.
lot of good.
Oh, much, yes, really good.
the strengthening training you're getting
Yeah.
is helping a lot.
Less falls. Now when I fall over, I had a fall the other day, I took off the marks on my hand. Rather than normally, the falls I've had the past 6, 7 years, I fall on my head and land on my face. And I've got hospitals, I've had to get stitched up here a few times.
One big fall in the US.
I had big falls here.
Horrible.
I had 2 falls in the US actually. And I ended up swimming head open here, like a peach. It was up. But now I've learned I fall with hands now. My hands go out first.
Well, so 6 months ago when you weren't doing any PT work, or a year ago,
yes.
when you're not doing that work, that just shows you how much it helps you.
I know, it's bizarre. I didn't actually know it was making that much difference, but it is.
Yeah.
Because I froze from the fell head first.
Well,
so
but
dangerous.
people probably listening will understand, or maybe some won't, that it's a message.
It goes too slowly.
It's the message going
It's
from
going around trying to find the
your
home.
brain to your hands is half a second too slow.
It's too slow. So I fall over. The damage is like I think, I should put my hands out, but the damage is done.
That's why.
So now I think now my hand's been out first because it's less.
Well, when you've fallen backwards a few times and not put your hand out, or
No, it's
Yeah.
The worst one's hand. When you
Yeah.
go forwards, that's the worst one. Hands out first. Head out first is disaster, but hands out first is better. Hands being crushed, who cares? The face knocks like all.
yeah. And then the big one, I mean, they're both big, but so memory stuff. Like
Oh gosh, yeah.
So short-term memory stuff.
It's appalling.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
So
It's like
sometimes
Wow.
your long-term's unbelievably good.
Yeah. Only
But your short-term,
always, but
but your short-term, I can sometimes we have to go over things 5 or 6 times.
I know. It's like you have to.
Where are we going today? Where are we going today?
I know.
That's
It's
the
a
big
word
one.
for it.
So what do we try and counteract that by writing that up on a board?
I have a little board, a
but you
daily
forget to
board,
look at the
what to
board.
do. And I forget to look at the board, and then what's going to do that day. So I drive John, mate, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? And I usually say, Claire, look at the board.
So, and when those times happen, when you've said something, I've told you like maybe 10 minutes before or 20 minutes before, and then I tell you a second time, and then a third time, and then I say, I think it's probably my manner in which I say it. I say, we are going to the chemist at 10 o'clock. If I say that, that obviously means
That's what you
I've said it again.
I'll say, and I
that's
forgot the
just
name.
a little bit of impatience on my
No, you're very
behalf, but it's
patient
not.
with it.
And then maybe the third or fourth or fifth time, I'll
You
say,
might-
darling,
you get a bit cross.
darling.
That's fair enough too.
Well, it's not, but it's not your fault.
No, it's my fault, but it's
We both know that.
frustrating.
We both know that, but that's just us trying to deal
And
with
then
it.
you say, Claire, look at the board. Oops.
I don't even say it that much. I just
You can't do. And you should, because I didn't let it.
because it's easier for you just to look at me and ask the
No,
question.
I know. It's quicker. Sorry. Yeah, it's true.
That's the way it goes.
That's how it-
But, we are 53, 54.
We are.
You're
I'm
54.
54. You're my
And
cougar.
we are getting
Cougar.
older. So, but it's just and I think Dr. Broadley, Professor
My
Broadley has
current
told
hero.
you we are getting older, and these things are just going to, with age, memory is going to be harder anyway. But your disease
Yeah.
probably enhances.
We're
those
not
moments.
sure. It's hard now to distinguish between MS memory issues or just being older memory issues. So I blame everything on MS, and that's actually probably not fair. Some things are just me being older.
With age,
So I shouldn't blame everything, but I just do. It's easier than just being old. Because old is like, that's current, that's not going to change. Getting older,
not anytime soon.
that's not going to get better.
Maybe just a little bit about driving.
Oh.
So you don't really drive now.
I don't drive.
And it's been a hard, very, very, very sticky subject between us because
It has.
it's you losing
Independence.
independence.
Mm-hmm.
But the dangers involved outweigh that, I think.
This is where we disagree here. I say I can drive just fine, but you've correctly said, Claire, you nearly hit the car
So
twice.
hitting the car is one thing, and that's the worst. But what Claire and I have been through 4 or 5 times is even so. All right, so we're going to take a car down to get it fixed. So Claire will drive behind me in her car, so we can drive back together. So we'll get to the. So she'll be driving behind me, and then I'll say stay close behind me, and then she'll make a wrong turn. Now that's really.
No, I'm in the roundabouts.
I know. Well,
Roundabouts
it doesn't
slowly.
matter. It doesn't matter where it happens.
Yeah, okay.
And then she's gone.
I get
Now,
lost.
so just let me try and explain this.
Yes.
So what I'll do is call her, and 2 things happen. Claire will answer, oh my God, where am I going? So the panic just starts to go through the roof,
Straight away.
and I'll say, do you know where you are? She can't work out where she is. She can't look at her brain, just won't let her calm down because of the anxiety and the
And
stress.
also driving on the motorway by myself and I can't know where I'm going is scary.
Yeah, let me get to the end of what I'm trying to say.
Yes, so.
So, and then you and I'll end up screaming at each other. as we have done,
in a
and I'll say,
car.
just pull the car over.
It's on a motorway, 2 motorways is scary.
So a couple of times it's been on the motorway and you don't know what motorway it is,
no.
and I've gone to call the police to say, start looking for this. Just let me bring up this.
Yeah, do.
So I have to go. I have to worry about. Not so I have to worry about. I want to know. I've got to find out where you are. It's as simple as that because you can't tell me. So the police will have to find you on the scanner or something.
With blue cars lost out of control somewhere.
So we haven't actually got to that time when you went off the highway and you ended up in Mullum.
I know.
And you said to me, "Oh, I'm in so-and-so street." I said, "Okay."
I was
It can only be 2 or 3 of those,
and
and you're in this little ditch. And I came up, I drove up behind you, and you started crying.
I know. I do.
Oh, I said, maybe we shouldn't do this
You shouldn't
anymore.
drive really.
And that's one of the reasons we moved out of Melbourne, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because everywhere you go, there are traffic lights and hundreds.
Ironically, Melbourne's actually easier because there's more traffic lights and you stop more there.
Yeah, but there's hundreds more cars.
And more cars, lots of traffic panics me, and when I get panicked, I stop thinking. My brain just shuts off, and I just drive like a lunatic. It's horrible. And I just get shut down. I still drive, and it's so dangerous.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's scary, and I probably shouldn't do that.
It's terrifying.
But I still have my license. I'm still allowed to drive, which is kind of ironic because
I know.
I shouldn't be able to drive really.
But
I can.
You drive your little golf buggy around here.
Around here, the golf buggy. It's my little jitney on my farm.
Claire says jitney because she's still. So people listening, a lot of things Claire will say are from England, so I have to keep pulling her up because we are in Australia.
I know, you're right there. But my little jitney,
Yes.
I love my little jitney. It's like I can drive around, it's no dangerous at all because I can't hit myself like a fence. That's all I can do, but I don't. There's nothing to hit, no cars, nothing. So it's very safe.
It's safer here.
It's safer, yeah.
So going on from that,
Yes.
talking about driving and being nervous and anxious. The anxiousness is a big...
Anxiety.
Anxiety is a very big thing.
A lot of anxiety. A lot, I know.
That you have to deal with, we have to deal with, and a lot of it's brought on by seeing new people.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's just people, even people we know. So maybe we can explain what happens when just someone comes in the room and what happens usually when they sit down and we talk to them. So you can just be honest.
I'm trying to think what I do. When I shouldn't do, but I speak too much and I speak a bit fast and a little bit craziness.
Because you're anxious.
I'm very anxious. I don't quite know why I'm anxious.
Because I think it's, and we've spoken this thousands of times, but because I think you feel like you have to sort of hide.
This is not true. I don't reckon I'm trying to hide a mess. I don't try and hide a mess ever. You can't hide it. It's pretty clear as day. That's it. But I'm trying to hide being dumb.
But you want to feel like everybody else.
I try to hide being abnormal. When in fact I am abnormal. I know that. But I try to be more.
You're not abnormal. It's
I try to be regular. I'm not regular. And I just, what I'm not doing, I overcompensate for being quiet, to being too noisy and too.
And some of our friends are great. Most of our friends are pretty good.
Yeah.
Some people we know are not good. It's not.
Who are these people?
I am not going to be naming them right here.
I'm curious who's actually.
Maybe if we have a few drinks one day and do one of these, I'll do it.
Get it more open, more honest.
But it's not. And there's a lot worse diseases for people to deal with in person. There's a lot worse, as we know, people with MS.
Way worse than me.
have it so much worse than what we do.
I know.
There's people there's so many people that have it better. So
you're in the middle. Yes.
Not many have had it this long. This is your
25th year.
25th year, and then we'll talk about this as we go on further. But the reason we're here in rural New South Wales is to be a bit less stressed.
Yes.
And be around
and energy. Yeah, it's just beautiful and healthy.
The energy around here is just amazing.
It's so harmonic.
We've been here 6.5 years and we're still
not here.
Byron, we've been on the coast. We've been on the coast. We moved to Byron at the end of 2018, and then we've been at this property for 5 months.
Yes.
Here in Cooper's Chute, and it's just
epic.
Great part of the world, and we've got some horses here.
We're grateful here.
Very, very, very grateful to be here. But this stuff we're talking about just doesn't go. It's not going anywhere. I mean, hopefully, I'm sure we'll get some people on talking to us about their experiences with the disease and that sort of stuff. So, moment of truth here, darling.
Yeah.
Between the two of us, have we ever gaslighted each other?
Oh, no.
Have I? Well, let's just.
I haven't.
Well, I'll start with me.
Yes.
Just thinking back to where there have been times where
you said
I've said the wrong thing and been stubborn and then blamed your MS, the answer is no.
Oh.
I've never done that to you. I've
No,
never
you
said,
haven't.
I'm going to go, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I'd never do that.
No.
I just blame, if I've made a mistake and then you've caught me out, you've caught me out.
You're honest. That's good.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
That's I can say that wholeheartedly.
That's good.
Yeah, and we're all bullheaded at times, and I can be too. But I've never said to you, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I'd never do that.
No, you haven't. That's good. It's good to know.
No.
You could have, but you haven't.
On the other hand, let's speak. When you've said things that maybe be wrong,
Yeah.
do you think you've said, no, you don't know what you're talking about to me, or you happy to blame yourself?
I blame myself too much.
Mm.
I blame myself all the time. I blame myself saying, like, in a way, I'm too self-sabotage. I say, Claire, idiot, Claire, I self-criticize. I blame myself.
Self-deprecate.
Self-deprecate all the time. To the point that people say to me, Claire, don't blame yourself. Lisa,
Yeah, you're always
put
doing that.
myself
When we
down.
go out,
I say, oh, I forgot again. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. And I kind of
I
put
think
myself down
you're always
too much.
apologising.
I say, I'm sorry. I say, what for? I apologise for living. It's just dumb, but I do that too much.
You don't need to do that.
I don't.
We don't know whether we have to explain to everyone, no, because Claire has MS and this is wrong and this is wrong, this is wrong, she'll forget all these things. So it's not an average situation to be in when you're with
No, it's
4 or
not.
6 or 8 or 10 people.
No,
It's just
Yeah.
it's that's not normal to have to. Because look, the reason that Claire said that is because this, and this.
yeah,
So we don't really
that's
do that,
true.
do we?
Yeah, it's true. But I kind of think to myself, do people understand that? I think when we're out about people to
No.
see us at a pub and see me fall over and things.
Well, it's better if everyone's 3 or 4 or 5 beers in and no one
But
really
that's what
cares.
it's actually worth. At a pub, going to a pub, they wouldn't let me in. No, but I said,
Oh, that's right.
like,
They said, "What's wrong with
They
that?"
said, what's wrong with that? It's like, excuse me.
Yeah, I know,
I'm
but
so offended.
but they don't know.
And they're going to let me into the place. And then the owner of the place you knew,
Mm.
he said, no, she's with me. I came in. And he said, but otherwise I couldn't get in. I was
Well,
so,
I
I
should-
was
I
so
should-
indignant. I was so
well,
cross.
yeah.
I wasn't drunk at all. I was like, very cross, but
That makes you cross, but that's just people just
I know,
don't know.
and I-
Because what did you remember years and years and years ago?
Mm.
So this is a year before we even got together.
Mm-hmm.
We reconnected,
Yeah.
and I went online and I found you talking about you with some English MS platform. You said,
Oh,
"Hi, my
yeah,
name's
yeah,
Claire."
yeah,
I found
probably,
that online. You said, "Hi, my name's Claire Jens. I've had MS for whatever years now.
Yeah.
A lot of our symptoms are hidden, so you don't really know what's wrong with us."
Yes.
That's what it is. And that's where the frustration comes in with this disease, is that
Okay.
there's so many things you can't see.
I know.
And so
It's very difficult for
Yeah.
everyone.
it's not with other diseases. A lot of the symptoms are quite visible,
Overt. They're very up. They're
and
very
these
clear.
ones are quite
Hidden.
hidden.
Yeah.
Mm,
So it's very tough.
yeah.
In terms of anxiety, and it could have been, people might think it's just regular things, but my point there is that I, before MS, had no anxiety ever. Now I have a lot of anxiety. So it's definitely MS driven. I think it's, although MS has got worse over the years, my anxiety's got worse. So at the beginning, I had no anxiety at all, zero. I worked full time. When I was a mother, had kids, and I was perfectly unanxious, I guess the word, unanxious. And then now I get anxiety for just nothing. Just little kind of things, very anxious now. So it's whatever, it's my voice. And it's probably because my speech is so, sounds drunk. My speech is so choppy. I feel more anxious than all because it sounds embarrassing.
And maybe explain to everyone when it's the best and when it's the worst. Your speech is your brain. So your brain. Let's go. Your brain is working its best
When I'm first thing awake in the morning, I am on
as long as you've had a good
If
sleep.
I have a good night's sleep, a good 8 hours sleep.
Someone's not storing.
There's no snoring person beside me, and no alcohol. I sleep well, and I wake up and I feel 100%, and I can, brain's 100%, and I can actually remember things. I can say things. Everything's firing really well. By about during the day, it's like a there's up there, and it goes down. And by about noon, it's kind of like say 50%. By about 8 o'clock at night, it's 10%. So I'm like a ever-ready battery, slowing down. I'm like slowing down. By nighttime, I'm just cactus.
I know that. And you used to, when we first got together, have little naps.
Yeah, I have naps now because
When we first started dating,
I
and
did.
we'd been dating about 3 weeks,
Yeah,
and I was at your place for lunch one day, And we're in the kitchen together, and you just started walking down the hallway. Go, all right. So what I do now is I go to sleep. Okay, so I'm going to rest now. Bye. And the kitchen going,
Okay.
oh, does she want me to wait?
Oh, sorry.
Well,
That was very nice.
so I waited.
You waited. Oh, you still going. Thank you. So, okay. You waited. And I
Yes.
had a little nap and then wake up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now
Now I don't nap.
it's been the last 2 years you've stopped napping.
That's a good point. No napping because I think I'm in
Why?
because I'm here in the countryside. No, the energy here is better and I feel less weighed down by the world here. I feel healthier, 100% healthier. I just feel less stressed, I guess is the word. And by doing so, by having not having those things down, I feel I don't get as tired. No naps at all. I had naps for years and now I don't nap at all. So that's a good thing. I do get tired though, but I don't nap.
And I think this year's been quite a challenging one, hasn't it?
She's been mental,
So
yeah.
stress has been high
Yes.
I mean, there was a lot of stress last year when we were shooting,
That was different stress.
but that was a different beast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the edit wasn't as stressful.
No, it was actually very pleasant.
And then in January, when we decided to get MS Australia involved, which is great,
Mm-hmm.
and then we wanted to take off overseas and start out promoting the film.
Tour.
And then at the same time, we had trying to sell the other house,
yes. And
and try and buy another one, and still trying to see kids in another state, in Melbourne. All 4 kids are in Melbourne, and my dad died, and then we had to go into full year into promoting the film. So PR tour started, and then July, August was like a blur, and it was terribly stressful, mainly because of the travelling
Yeah, we travelled a lot.
and how many plane trips you have to have, and how tired you were.
Yeah.
And we both were, but it was stressful.
But ironically, this is the bizarre thing. All that stress, all that travel.
And a bit of adrenaline there
I love
as well.
Love adrenaline. But this is my point there, that I would have thought I would get sicker or something bad.
Well, that's what we're
but nothing
worried
happened.
about.
We're worried even now that it's just talking about fallout from that whole year of craziness. But I feel, touch wood, pretty well here.
And it wasn't a normal thing to go through.
No, it wasn't. It was quite a big
Yeah.
project to embark upon.
Every week we'll release this podcast on the 1,000 Little MS Things Facebook page, and we'll also release it on your Instagram. So Claire's Instagram is claire.jens, claire.jens. And you can have a look and see what you think, and then some of you can get involved.